Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Ford planned it all. Thank you, thank you. Welcome. My name is Preston Jacobs. I live in Santo Domingo, Keloke. Um, we are talking about Ice and Fire, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So many things. Oh my gosh, big news, big news. Carmine is with me tonight. We have some crazy. I mean, it's so funny that like the randomness that becomes big news in the community, but it's also so incredibly small. You know what I'm talking
It's
about, Carmine?
sad. It's sad. It's sad that this little kid spoiling this is like the biggest fucking news we have. Even George is not a blog. He didn't blog about anything specific. It's just
Yeah,
George's most recent blog basically comes down to more news coming soon. Is it, George? Is it
yeah,
coming soon?
yeah.
Never
Is it
change.
is it coming soon? Yeah. So, what we're talking about this evening is, or at least at the beginning here, before we get into more Night of the Seven Kingdoms and stuff like that, but um, it was the actor that played Egg revealed information that I would say just perplexed the fandom a bit. But here's the clip. I'll play it for you.
I'm curious how much you guys know about the futures of your characters and if you've heard of a word, Summerhall.
Yes, yes, we have. I mean, I don't know about Peter, but I do know a bit about when Egg's trying to make dragons in the Summerhall, and then there's a huge fire. But we don't. We know. We know from George. We know.
We don't know if that
we
is
know.
exactly
we know.
what
Dunk,
happened.
we know Dunk survives, but we don't know if Egg survives yet.
We don't know. We don't know exactly what's happened. But let's just get this season one out of the way. And we'll see.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can get this out of the. Can I? Do I just have to do this? There we go. Yeah. So now, if you guys are thinking, oh, this is just the comments of a little boy, no, it goes beyond that. Carmine did his research, and he talked to Elio, and though
Elio, I
Elio
forgot
had
that.
no comment, the no comment was a comment about this. So this is a surprise to a lot of people because for as long as I can remember, everyone assumed that Dunk died at Summerhall. Now, that assumption was a good assumption based on the information we were given. What we know is that Summerhall happens in 259. There's a big fire. And we know in 260, Gerald Hightower is Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, and we know this because there's a mention in the World of Ice and Fire that he goes and it leads armies in the war of the Ninepenny Kings. So just on that we have Summerhall, and we know it was a big tragedy, and we know that Egg died, and we know it was a big, lots of people died, and we know that in just a year later, Gerald Hightower is Lord Commander. From that information, you can assume that Dunk died. Also, the wiki was fucking wrong. And that fed everyone who is just like going to the wiki and being like, well, the wiki says that Dunk died at Summerhall. Well, truth is, there is no legitimate source that says that Dunk died at Summerhall.
Wait a minute. I need to stop you right there. I need to tell you one funny thing that I actually forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you this for the first time. I brought that to Elio, and you know what he said to me?
What's that?
I said, Elio, are you sure? Like, Elio, what's going on here? It said Dunk died on the wiki. He goes, oh, let me just change that real quick. And I need to give a shout out to Mr. Maxwell in the stream chat because he actually has George R. R. Martin's A World of Ice and Fire, the app, and in the app it says that he's dead. I can send that over to you.
Yes. Now, but this gets into, there's a long discussions about the app and the canonicity of the app, and people, sort of say that, like, because like essentially the app is Elio prepared a bunch of material and George kind of signed off on it. But then people are like, did George really read through thousands and thousands of entries on the app? And even Elio himself is like, well, it's like, you know, it's semi-canonical. It's, you know, even Elio doesn't claim that the app is canonical. But
real quick,
yeah.
I hate to interrupt you here. This is also another question I asked him. I asked him, well, how come it says that Dunk is dead? To which Elio says, Westeros at large believes he is dead. Just like how Westeros at large believes that Ned Stark is Jon Snow's mother.
Right.
And well...
Yeah, so the app said, yeah, that Jon Snow is Ned's son and all of this. But yeah, this misled a lot of people for a long fucking time. That because I mean, most of the pieces were there, and then the wiki had the wrong information, and most people like, because it's not just that, it's like it gives the information and then it sources, then it has a footnote. And it goes to and you have the footnote and you assume that the footnote is correct. And the thing is you go to the source and you actually search, nothing says that Dunk died. So it's, so we were all kind of fooled by some bad citations but also,
I'm sorry. I meant father. I'm so sorry. I said Ned Stark is his father. I'm sorry.
Ned Stark is Jon's mother. This is the big surprise.
I'm sorry. I meant to say
he's a cross-gender clone. This is Night Flyer stuff, right? So Ned actually like had a female version of himself. He had uploaded his mind into a Whisper Jewel crystal, and they were on thing searching for Vulcans. Anyway,
honestly, it's just a matter of jester gooning and foids and moids and modding and all that. Yeah.
So. The thing is you go back, you also I think the big thing is that narratively speaking, okay, like narratively speaking, Dunk at Summerhall is what, like 65 years old? How old is Dunk at Summerhall? He's I mean, just on a comparison, like he's like Barristan Selmy age. Because he's born in around 293, though we're not sure. It's, you know, off a year because he's not sure of his own birthday. But 259, yeah, he's 66 years old. He's literally like Barristan Selmy age. Like everybody's calling him Barristan the old. Like Dunk is an old man by Westerosi standards. Okay, is there no reason? You know, what is there much reason for Dunk to have further adventures? Like, what other further adventures of Dunk do you want at this point? You know, after 259, like, you know, what do you want? You know, he had like, you know, whatever. George was going to write 10, 12 stories leading up to Summerhall. You want even more? And so I don't blame the fandom, including me. I thought Dunk was dead. I thought Dunk was dead at Summerhall. Who didn't believe that Dunk was dead at Summerhall? Well, I will say there were a few people. There was a handful of people who for 15 fucking years have been pushing the Dunk is cold hands theory. And even, you know, so somehow they somehow called, you know, that Dunk survived this. But yes, like what narrative purpose was there to Dunk surviving? And then you got to step back and go, George doesn't need a fucking narrative purpose to keep somebody alive. George doesn't kill POV characters except for Ned and Aerys Oakheart. like he does, like everybody says like, oh, George kills characters. Nah, not much, right? Like Aerys Oakheart, yeah. Ned, yeah. But Catelyn's back. Everybody thinks Jon's coming back. People question whether Quentin is alive. You know, like there's always an out. He doesn't want to paint himself into a corner. And so here is just this example again of like George refusing to kill a fucking POV character by having him survive Summerhall. And I mean, I suppose you could argue that like he fakes his death at Summerhall, or maybe he survives, and then. But how do you get out of the Lord Commander ship? The only way out of it would be to join the Night's Watch, right? Because you can't quit the King's Guard unless you're joining the Night's Watch or something, or he fakes his death and does something else. But then what? Like what do you want this like 65, 66-year-old dude like doing? Like this old tall man.
Also, that's not true. George does kill his POV characters. What about Quentin?
Yeah. Well, the whole thing about Quentin and is that he clearly did not want to commit. That's what I'm saying. Maybe Quentin's alive, maybe he's dead, but clearly George didn't want to commit. You don't throw in unrecognizable corpses if you're committing to somebody dying. You know, you have his head chopped off like Ares Oakheart or Ned Stark if you want to commit to them dying. You know. Wasn't there also a theory of Dunk helped deliver Rhaegar at Summerhall? Oh, I mean, artwork implies. Yeah, I don't, who knows? But you'd think that like he gets them out and then he runs back in or something for something else. But it does kind of like if we're thinking about like Summerhall, Dunk would have stabbed Egg and killed Egg in a kind of like Jaime killing the King's kind of sense, and now he feels bad for killing his friend and being an oath breaker, like, by killing the King. How does he make up for it? Maybe he joins the Night's Watch. It's how old is Dunk when it happens? He's like 66. He's like 66 years old. He's old as fuck for Westeros. It's all just hilarious. Now, what's also hilarious about this situation is that we're talking about a story that will never fucking be written. There is zero chance we will ever have the Summerhall story written. That is just not happening. Like, that is like dream of spring kind of like idea. Like, George is claiming he wants to write 12 stories with Dunk and Egg. He's not getting all the way to Summerhall. Okay. That's just not fucking happening. They're not adapting it. They're not like, it's funny. I know Ira Parker's like, oh, my dream is like 5 seasons. And then like we take 5-10 years off, and then they do 5 more seasons, and then they take 5 or 10 years off, and then they do 5 more seasons, and it lasts his whole life. It's like, not fucking happening, Ira. Not fucking happening. Okay. Like getting 15 seasons of a show is like miracle work. But when has there been 15 seasons of an HBO show? It's just not, no. Man, oh man. I don't know.
Did you see the theories and conspiracy behind the whole clip of Dexter saying this? Like, people are saying George would never tell him this. This is clearly a contrived thing to boost views for the show or something.
Well, like, I think really? That's clearly wrong. Everything we know about George is that he when in private company with people can be quite revealing about his work. In fact, it was a criticism that Elio lobbed was that George is really loose with information, and Elio doesn't want spoilers. Like, Elio is like, no, George, don't tell me this. I want to read the book and like have it revealed and enjoy the story. And yeah, this idea that like someone would reveal this information as some sort of like stunt for what? For the super fans? For psychos like us? Like, like the average person is not caring about Summerhall and whether Dunk survives and things like this and the history of that. That's ridiculous.
I even said that in my video, like the super casuals fans, does it matter? Not really.
Yeah. No.
Not really.
No. It's ridiculous. George, you did this to yourself. You entrusted information to a child. Also, it's nebulously non-canon info since there's need to be a book to spoil. Well, that's the other weird thing about, obviously the term canon is ridiculous. Like, what does it mean? George himself contradicts himself. He changes his mind. So, like, when George says something is going to happen, how do you know it's going to happen? Because he said stuff is going to happen before, and then he's changed his mind. So how do you know? It's like we're sitting here with Minority Report, like discussions about like what future history and things like that. Like, the ball rolling off the table, but it was gonna roll off the table. So like that kind of thing. Great movie. Fucking Minority Report. That was a great movie.